Hello and welcome to another episode of the Digital India Summit 2020 Enabling the New Normal, co-presented by Tata Consultancy Services and banking partner Union Bank of India. Driving the theme, Enabling the New Normal, the summit draws a roadmap to accelerate India's digital growth with actionable insights from eminent speakers. On this episode, we're putting the spotlight on the all-important banking sector in India and how banks are accelerating digitalization of the sector. Times Network's Mihir Bhatt is in conversation with the Managing Director and CEO of Union Bank of India, Rajkiran Rai ji.
Welcome to Digital India Summit. I have a very special guest with us today, somebody who has kept the Indian economy moving and the banking system kicking and alive during this pandemic. I have with us MD and CEO of Union Bank, Mr. Rajkiran Rai. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, it's a pleasure having you as our partner on Digital India Summit.
We are very happy as Union Bank to be associated with the Digital India Summit. We are partnering this for the last more than 5 years. We thank Times Network for conducting this program regularly, bringing together all the digital players and the financial institutions. The digital network, the digital deepening which happened in the country, either through JAM Trinity or various other initiatives taken, has really played out in reducing the problem of COVID epidemic during these most difficult times. The programs announced subsequent to the lockdown to reach out the women beneficiaries and the farmers through the Garib Kalyan Yojana. So we could, within minutes, we could credit the accounts of all these beneficiaries, and with a very efficient network at the rural branches and our business correspondents, we could distribute this money to the needy in quick time. I think this has really reduced the stress because of the COVID. And even the emergency line of credit, which was sanctioned and which we handled digitally, most of these loan products, which has again helped in reducing the stress of MSMEs. So we are seeing that impact because of these interventions, particularly through the digital mode. The stress level came down, and in Q2 we are seeing the economy coming back to normalcy pretty quickly. So I think the digitization of the whole economy, the digitization of all the process has really helped us. So again, the country is in a fast forward mode on digitization. I hope this summit of Times Network is bringing everyone together to again look at the gains we made in the last few months, and also to see that this agility which the system has shown is sustained, and we bring a lot of changes and make it more customer friendly and be a part of the journey of this country for the 5 trillion economy.
This year is obviously very special, and as you can see, we are also speaking remotely, and it's basically this remote access which has kept the world moving. But if we were to sort of look back in the month of Feb or March, nobody would have expected that these things are possible. So that I would say invisible digital ecosystem which always existed, but nobody fully utilized it, that actually came to our rescue, especially the financial sector and the banks. So what was your first brush with that initial phase where we were still trying to figure out what's happening?
Yeah, actually when the lockdown was announced, so we are a huge bank with that time 4,000 plus branches, and now we are 9,000 plus branches. So just you can imagine with 75,000 people. And it took some time for people to understand the size of the disease and the epidemic which is likely to hit us, and the kind of impact, even though we were seeing the impact on China. So it took us some time. But then banks were well prepared because we have our own business continuity plan for the technology space and other things which we always work and practice actually. See, as a bank, we have disaster recovery sites. So as a practice, every month we move to DR site for a day just to test that whether it is working. So our business continuity plans are very robust actually. These are evolved over a period of time. So this worked very well. Even in the worst of these COVID times, the banking was always there. Even in head office, whether it's our credit committees, the decision making process, whether people are working from home or office, everything was working to a point. I think even though it has hit us hard, but the preparation levels were very good. So none of our customers felt that banking service is lacking during COVID times. We could reach out, whether it is the DBT, which came immediately, because see,
Right.
after lockdown, so immediately there is a 500 rupees transfer to women beneficiaries. So we should again give our special regards to the Jandan Jam Trinity, what we call. And the banks have developed a BC network in addition to the rural branches. And this BC network was incentivized during this period. So all of us did that. With that, we could reach the ultimate beneficiary pretty quickly. So, and we evolved many more things. But then at that point of time, we played on the existing infra what we had. So initially it was tough, but then I think we could cope up. So but our people actually really worked very hard to see that at least on the financial ecosystem, there was no problem to anyone.
Absolutely. And in fact, the initiatives that you mentioned, the Jam Trinity and the DBT that banks actually managed to pull through, that has now become a talking point even internationally. And our example is given to a lot of developed countries where they were still sending the relief checks by post. So, I mean, obviously, the credit goes to the entire digital ecosystem that all the banks, including obviously yours, have created. Sir, what I want to understand is now, with all the learnings that we have from this, the forced innovation that we had to do as a country, also as a financial sector, also, and otherwise also as businesses. What are your key takeaways? Are you now reorienting or recalibrating the digital strategy, keeping long-term plan in mind? Because what we did initially was our immediate reaction, or I would say the makeshift arrangement. But now a lot of these changes could be permanent as well.
Yes, they are going to be permanent. See, two things which stand out is the resilience of the system and the agility of the system. So I
Right.
think because this was a reaction, as you rightly said. So because there was nothing there was a big challenge in front of you. You know, that time people were charged to do something. So system could it was very agile. Actually, we could adapt to changes very quickly. Everyone adapted very quickly. Now to sustain this is very important, because actually this has fast forwarded the digital implementation at least by 2-3 years. To reach this level,
Right.
we would have taken 2-3 years. I think in 2-3 months we did that. Now I think we need to take it forward. We are working on that. See, particularly on the liability side, it is basically the cash handling, opening your accounts, transferring money. So see, November 2.2 billion transactions in UPI itself is an indication of things to come. So
Right. Right.
it is reaching phenomenal levels. So on the liability side, people who are saving money, transferring money, I think the digitally it is very well evolved and people are using it. Now we need to address the asset side. Asset side is basically the loans. I think PM Swanidhi again proved that. Actually, this is a street vendor financing scheme. So it is all digital. But there is one leg which is missing, which is the documentation side. So we are going for digitization of documentation now. So on trial basis, on personal loan, Union Bank has already implemented it. Now within a few weeks, we are launching it few products. Launching few, in Mudra, there is a Shishu loan. It is a smaller loan. So we have developed straight through processing and also digital documentation. So that
Okay.
up to 50,000 rupee loan, no? Customer, it's a OTP based, Aadhaar based authentication. So they need not come to the branch even for document execution. So that kind of solutions are emerging. Now video KYC, you would have heard about it, is another thing which is
Yeah.
emerging. Now video KYC is basically being used for account opening part. Now we are thinking, see, senior citizens have a problem. So
Yeah.
coming to the branches and high risk category, so they have life certificates to be given. So can we evolve these systems to execute this kind of processes? So that they need not come, they need not travel. So that kind of thing. So digitally we are really evolving, particularly on the asset side. You will see a lot of changes in the next 6 months.
Right. And actually, I think the credit goes to probably people like you or leaders like you who have actually managed to convert this crisis into opportunity. And we have seen that happening across the businesses. But you had a unique challenge because, one is obviously the whole merger process. And suddenly, when your branch network virtually doubles, and then, you have to maintain growth. Along with that, you have an additional challenge, I would say, or a huge crisis, once in a century crisis of something like COVID. So, I mean, how did you manage to pull it all together?
See, we had three headquarters to deal with, one at Mangalore, one
Correct.
at Hyderabad, and one at Mumbai. So, what we did is we had more than 30 committees of general managers, and they were virtually meeting
Okay.
and looked at every product, every process, every policy. And the best of the three was the policy. Like every bank had
Okay.
certain good things in them. So we have come to a consensus which product to go ahead, which process is better, and then the technology evolved around that. And I'm very happy to share with you that we have completed the full technology integration of Corporation Bank. And today morning, we have started Andhra Bank also. Few branches of Andhra Bank on a test case basis already migrated. And I'm very sure by Jan end, we'll be completing Andhra Bank. So on all fronts, actually, this was a massive exercise during COVID times. Again, the teams worked very well and in a very coordinated way. There was a big challenge in front of us, but then everybody came up to the challenge and we did it in a beautiful way. And 21, 22, we will be harvesting a lot of these benefits out of the merger.
Correct. Now, first of all, if we were to talk about Union Bank, now, are you more assured looking at the way Indian economy has bounced back that probably the worst case scenario that we were fearing may actually not happen? And by the time we complete Q4, the operational performance of economy as well as banks as well as Union Bank will be much better than expected?
I'm very sure because most of the high frequency indicators are
Mhm.
indicating that kind of positive. I think you would have seen several reports coming.
Right.
So I have like, and we talk to a lot of business people on a daily basis, either service providers or manufacturing, except for 2, 3 sectors. I think all the sectors are bouncing back very well. So I think this demand, what we saw in October, November, seems to be very sustainable. So we will see good Q3 and good Q4. I'm very, very confident of that.
Right. Sir, one major factor will also be, the key learnings, like you rightly mentioned, that this entire digital innovation and digital thrust that is happening across the economy, including banks. So actually, is there a case for, positive surprise in pockets when it comes to operational efficiency, especially for banks?
Definitely, yes. Actually, like this is where I said the cost synergies will come in. It is a
Yeah.
better deployment of manpower. See, three banks were doing the same things repeatedly with the same kind of manpower. Going, like if it is marketing, all the three banks are doing. Technology upgradation is a big thing actually, and all the three banks were
Hmm.
spending separately. Now with the one common entity, there will be a lot of cost synergies. Actually, we have measured about 3,500 crores of synergies in the next 3 years. But what we are seeing is maybe I'll have at least 50% more than that. That's what my expectation. Even though we are fixing it at 3,500 at this point of time, like, but even in the IT space, like a lot of rationalization is happening. So the expenditure will come down substantially there. On the employee side also, we will see some rationalization happening. The branch mergers actually, like we'll have, and we will close down branches where we have multiple branches close by. At least 500 branches are identified for kind of closure and merger with the nearest branch. And we have taken a decision that we will open equal number of branches in other areas. So I think we will see a lot of synergies coming in, and operational efficiency will go up. Like you, not only the financial sector, even in the manufacturing sector and service sector, maybe Q3 analysis will throw up that. So operational efficiency and cost savings are happening.
Before we talk about macro issues, what I wanted to understand is on the digital side as well. Now, which are the key initiatives that going forward you would want to realize or implement across all the brands and across all the network of UBI, which is now obviously such a large, one of the largest bank network in the country or branch network in the country?
See, digitally, ultimately, we all have to come to a common interface. Like one of the
Yeah.
example is the doorstep banking. It is not that it is SBI, Union Bank, and all that. All the banks have to come together. See, but the best example is ATMs. When we started, they were
Hmm.
standalone. Now, gradually, like today, it is agnostic to any bank. Like you can walk into any ATM and draw money from any of the bank account. So most of these services
Right.
also have to gradually migrate to common platforms, and the common interfaces have to evolve. So all digital capabilities built actually have to go to the benefit of the customer. So it is not one bank
Hmm.
against other. It will be more from the customer focus point. That will be our view. Meanwhile, we try to develop our digital infrastructure to a very like a strong this thing. But then there are internal things to us like the database creations and the analytics. Actually, we have a strong analytics team. We are further building that. And there is a digitization department which is working on all products. There is a big team working on mobile banking. So like we have this PSB59 portal. Again, it is bank
Hmm.
agnostic. So customer has a choice. He can log in, feed the data, then he chooses which bank to go. So that kind of things will evolve. That is the future of digital banking. So it will be bank agnostic. Customer will have all the choice. So you should be very efficient in service delivery so that customer chooses you.
Right. I think that's a very interesting insight because not many people have given this kind of overview. Uh, you mentioned about the UPI transactions, and I'm not particularly referring to UPI, but what we have seen is this pandemic has forced people, maybe out of safety concerns, out of ease of transaction, but the payment mechanism in India is booming, and probably the growth that we have seen now has already captured the projections of what would have been a likely number probably 3 4 years down the line. Keeping that in mind, now are you also thinking about some new products, or like you mentioned, there is obviously focus on digital banking, within that introducing some new features with this combined entity? What is your vision on that?
Yeah, we are actually. I spoke about many of those products which are
Hmm.
under testing now, which will be launched in few weeks' time. So these are the new initiatives we have, and to further help the farmers, your KCC will be online for us now. We are working on that.
Hmm.
So and like we have done a lot of centralization of the process, which is fully digital. So particularly
Right.
for the rural side, we have a tab banking built in, which is called the Union Sampurna, Union Samriddhi Kendras we call. There is a financial literacy also built in there, where my field officers will go to a village, upload all the data, and it's an online processing kind of thing which we are building. We have already tested it for more than 1.5 years. Now we have a lot of expertise. And one more thing I would like to add is now regulator already is looking for a parallel to NPCI. So
Yeah.
we are also talking to a lot of players, technology providers, and few other banks to create an umbrella entity. So Union Bank is also is participating, trying to build a like a second parallel to NPCI. But this is more on the payment space. See, when it comes to digital
Right.
products, that is totally internal developments. But this will be a more of a collaboration with some of the public sector bank, private sector bank, with the technology provider. With that collaboration, we'll go ahead and try to create one more entity which is as good or better than NPCI.
Right. I can't let you go without asking about banks and about the overall, sentiment in the economy. You are practically connected at ground level across the economy, across the sectors. So, is it now safe to say that Indian economy as well as Indian banking is completely out of woods? Obviously, there will be some hiccups, but overall, the trajectory from here going forward looks positive.
If you look at 2014
Right.
and 15, people were talking of for 12 lakh crores of NPA, 13 lakh crores of NPA, and the capital of the public sector bank practically being wiped out, so much of NPA problem. Now, today, as we stand, all recognition of the legacy NPA is over. 80 to 90% of the provisioning is complete. So today I may have a 1,000 crores loan, which is NPA, which is going through a process of NCLT and other thing. But if you look at the provisioning level has reached such a level, even if you have to write off that loan, even if the recovery is minimum, there is no hit to the profit and loss of account of the bank because we are fully provided.
Right.
So actually that is the strength of the balance sheet today. Now the COVID created another problem to the banks because initial estimate was that at least 1 year the economy will be disturbed, and then there will be NPAs, and RBI came with moratorium, and then there is a lot of talk of the moratorium numbers, then the collection efficiencies, a lot of things, because everybody was anticipating that COVID will create again a bad NPA, like a bad asset problem or NPA problem. But then I think again credit goes to all our business people and all the systems which are in place. I think we are back to normal in second quarter. So I think it is not as bad as we thought. So I think the COVID related issues and the NPA and the restructuring. So now it will be spread over next 2-3 years where we have sufficient capabilities to handle this. So I'm not seeing any big problem. I will see like in the normal course with the assuming that whatever has happened is the worst, and next year we don't see any big challenges. 21-22 will be very good for the banking system. Public sector banks together, they make an operating profit of something between 1.6 to 1.8 lakh crores per annum. So, and
Right.
you can just imagine even 50% of that flowing back as profit and for capital shoring up. You can just see the strength of the public sector setup, because now this operating profit is fully used for only provisioning.
That's a very interesting insight. And obviously, I mean, anybody who's watching this interview will start thinking about the valuation also, because suddenly, the valuation of some of the large public sector banks do look very attractive despite all the run up that we have seen. But more than that, I think the insight that you provided about the depth of our economy and the resilience of our banking system, including obviously the digital initiatives which have been undertaken. I think that is very interesting. Sir, it has been a pleasure having you as part of Digital India Summit. And I hope next time when we discuss the future of Indian digital banking, it will be face to face. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
That's all on this episode of Times Network Digital India Summit 2020, Enabling the New Normal, co-presented by Tata Consultancy Services and banking partner Union Bank of India. Goodbye and thank you so much for watching.